What's going on, y'all? It's Jason Reviews here, back at it again with another video, a little change of scenery for y'all. And as you guys can see by the title, we are doubling back around for another installment of the Book'em series. Obviously, top of the year in battle rap, combination of not a lot of events going on right now. It looks like a lot of stuff is going on more towards February, as well as a lot of yearly wrap-up stuff. A lot of us that are content creators are all doing stuff related to 2022. For those of you that don't know, I am a part of the Let's Talk Battle Rap staff, proudly a part of it. And we just recently released our all URL rounds, the 5 best first, second, and third rounds on URL, kind of reminiscent of the all NBA system, as well as our top 10 battles of 2022 with honorable mentions ranked. So, I'll probably have floated a screenshot of them up here, but also I will have my Twitter down in the description if you guys want to go follow that, see what we got going on, and just shout out to everybody, that I work with, the whole gang. Obviously put a lot of hours into that, a lot of note taking, and hope that we did a good list by the people. It's been a lot of positive feedback. And for those of you that just like that type of stuff, and know Let's Talk Battle Rap is a prominent source, we got those big lists out for 2022 with more content on the way. But onto the topic of this video, after plugging that, obviously this is the Hitman Holla Book'em episode, where I will be saying 5 battles that I think Hitman should take going forward, or the 5 best matchups that are more realistic. That's a big thing I like to do with this Book'em series, is that obviously we could all pick matchups we want people to do, but the actual next plates, like what are the next 5 plates I could see him taking. Now, knowing Hitman, probably only going to take 1 plate this year. This could be 5 plates that stretches over 3 or 4 years, depending on how often he battles. But these are all matchups that, I just think that he could take. We're going to start out with all of them. I try to keep realistic, but we're going to start with probably the least realistic and then work our way up to the battle that I think we're all hoping that he takes, or at least in my opinion, I'm hoping that he takes. So without further ado, let's get into these matchups that I think would be great for Hitman Holla. So to start out at number 5, I have Hitman Holla versus Rumple. Now, when it comes to this one, obviously, outside of a few call-outs that they've done in battles to each other, I believe that Hitman called out Rum versus Shine. Rum has obviously thrown a shot or two back. But I know that this one is one that doesn't really have the moment to be built, and it's just a matter of, at this 5 spot, I just wanted to choose someone that I thought was good, and even though the promo is there and the realistic buildup isn't there yet, I don't think it has it. Like, the 4 guys above here, I think all have a little bit more story, and were kind of easier to match up, as opposed to this spot. I just had to think, who's probably the best person that Hitman hasn't battled that already I hadn't put on the list. And I think Rumple is just that last guy that goes in there. Obviously, Nitty's remaining plates for the most part are going to be God tier level guys, or guys that don't step out that often, which is why there's such a campaign, for those type of guys to step out for Nitty. And you can also throw guys like maybe Av on here, maybe if you want to get really weird and stylistic or clean, but you could hear by the names I'm throwing out, there's just not... It's not like there's any more blockbusters at this 5th spot. And I just thought Rumple one of those. They've traded a couple shots. And at the end of the day, if Hitman versus Rumple got booked, I don't think we'd be mad. Like, we didn't really expect the easy battle to get booked. And, hope that still goes down. But we definitely weren't mad when that came out. And that's just one of the best in the world. Probably fits a lot better stylistically. But, in my opinion, I think Easy and Nitty are just 2 of the best in terms of just the material they're providing in the world right now. I think they're providing just outstanding material back to back. So, I just wouldn't be mad at it being booked, but someone had to go with this 5th spot. So that's why I have Nitty there. And then from there, like I said, all 4 of these matchups I have much more of a vision for and think they really could happen. And there's specific reasons why, specific platforms, such and such. And at number 4, I have A-Ward. Now, Hitman versus A-Ward is a battle that probably seems a little bit premature. I believe it got mentioned, tossed around a little bit, but like, what are the chances of him? First of all, obviously, both of them, Hitman hasn't battled on the URL platform in quite some time, and obviously books a lot of, pretty much all of his battles for the last few years off of URL. And as for as for A-Ward, obviously, he has not battled on URL yet. Not that I want to make that a URL-centric point, but just they kind of already do a lot of business with similar leagues together. And on top of that, it's another one of those where, it may seem a little premature, but he's taking Easy. Now, you can debate, obviously, Easy's having a little bit more of a prominent run than A-Ward is, especially in the impact category. But these are obviously two of the better new age guys by far, extremely revered. A-Ward is extremely respected by Hitman Holla. And I just think it would be a good battle. I think this provides a little bit of a different style clash than Hitman would be used to. You have maybe this tactician. In a weird way, I've always said A-Ward's kind of like the Christian Iron Solomon. He's got this the pen that he works, a lot of scheming, a lot of punching, but that's not really all he does. There's a lot of angling in there. There's the backwards rhyming, real pure, great cadences. I mean, he's just an all-around threat, and that's all without mentioning the rebuttals, which obviously he's, a 0.1 percenter at in battle rap. One of the best ever at that in such a short amount of time. So for all those reasons, I just think it's an interesting skill set challenge. I think Hitman is an extremely all-around base battler with kind of a performance edge, and I think A-Ward is an extremely all-around base battler with a little bit more of a writing edge. So you could see that going down to RB or something of that nature. I just think that's another skill versus skill one that makes a little bit more sense with both of them being some of the better performers that have been consistently off of URL. And that's why I think Hitman Holla versus A-Ward would be a fantastic battle for Hitman. And then from there, we get into the top three. And as for, all of these battles, all of these are kind of ones that I think are more immediately talked about. Probably when you clicked on this video, these top three are three battles that most likely ran through your mind. And at number three, maybe to some people's surprise, I have Gichi. Now, this is the one that a lot of people want booked now. It had built up steam last year. They did the little mini face-off on stage. Apparently, the business just couldn't come through, to get it booked. But still a battle that the people want to see. Gichi versus Hitman Holla was big press, and for me, and for a lot of you, it might even be higher, but for me personally, I think the two guys that I have above here, stylistically, are just a better fit for a Hitman, that high-performance type of feel. But with that being said, obviously, Hitman versus Gichi is just a battle that is going to need to go down at some point. These are two of the higher-rated, more revered battle rappers for two almost completely different reasons. Hitman, as we said in the beginning of the video, referring to the way he moves as a god tier, kind of takes, less plates here and there, really picks and chooses, but chooses great matchups on big cards, while Gichi's the personification of being outside, kind of has had an effect on the whole game and the amount of battles people take per year, how Gichi was able to win multiple Champion of the Years by just repeatedly having like 10 plus battles against various amounts of competition, tons of top tier, god tier, lower tier, things of that nature. And that for all these different reasons, and that's without mentioning the skill set. Very similar to the A-Ward matchup, just two of the best all-around battlers. Gichi with some emphasis on the street talk, and obviously his real talk thirds became iconic, but always when he gives you that kind of substance-based, introspective stuff, that's one of the greatest ever at that. And as for Hitman, probably easily, to me, he's clearly the best performer of all time. There's just not much to discuss there, which is such a big part of battle rap. Both multi-time headliners. This is just that blockbuster type of matchup. You know what I'm saying? This is just cut and dry, that simple, and is one of the best matchups for Hitman, which is why I have it at number 3. And as for these top two, I would love either of these two to happen. It'll be a big discussion when we get to number 1, because it kind of goes against how I usually do these types of lists. But before we get to number 1, we got to talk about number 2, and that is IWill. I want Hitman versus IWill this year. Please, can we get it this year? There is nobody on this list that I believe directly has earned the Hitman Holla plate more than IWill. You could say Gichi, but I don't think Gichi really built up to that. That was his whole rise and end goal, and it's obviously a plate that we want. It's pretty much one of the last greats that Gichi hasn't faced, one of the last people Gichi hasn't faced. But IWill's work on RBE, specifically going after calling out Hitman Holla, the way that he worked up, the types of matchups he took on the way up, and just how great IWill was in that 2018, 2019, in 2020, that streaky years. Many would debate he probably should have been Champion of the Year in 2019. I mean, this guy is a super talent. He obviously has Hollow Dadan coming up, so I could just see this being that. I predicted last year to be a big year for IWill, and obviously things went off. Maybe he just needed that gap year, because I think after battling Hollow, if that is a great performance, or if that's a good debatable battle, or if that's a clear win for Will, there's no reason IWill versus Hitman Holla shouldn't start getting lined up again, if it is already not getting lined up. IWill, in my opinion, the king of RBE over there. When you talk about performer versus performer, he is one of the few people that could probably match Hitman's energy in that aspect, plus the comedy that he brings to the table, the jack of all trades, which we talked about the few matchups, but is there any better all-around versus all-around than IWill versus Hitman? In my opinion, not. He's super earned the plate, and it's a match I know that Hitman will be willing to take, and to me is a must book. If not this year, got to be next year. And then that leaves us with the matchup that I want most for Hitman Holla. Now, I will preface this with saying my number 2 matchup with IWill, that's the next one I want booked. After this easy battle goes down, hopefully goes down, and we get that, which is a great matchup. You know, Chrome 23, thank you for booking that. But after that, I would love to see IWill be the next immediate one. So you would think if I have IWill at 2, you know what I'm saying, why wouldn't I put IWill at 1? Maybe you could debate, since I think it is the next matchup he should take, that it should be at 1. But at number 1, I have a matchup that I don't know if it's going to happen in the soon future. This guy is just starting to get consistent again to build, maybe, possibly one day, build this type of buzz for this type of matchup. But at number 1, I have Hitman versus New Jersey Twerk. I know. The chokes, the opportunities that he's fumbled, is this really a guy that deserves it? Probably not. You know, even with his as consistent as he's been recently and getting much better, I mean, absolutely, but kind of an under-the-radar year in 2022. I completely understand people that inherently are like, nah, man, after all these plates, the surf plates, the SM chokes, the chokes on Gnome, this and that, why would he deserve this? I get it, but I do see him getting better again, and we all know, whether we like it or not, the man's skill set is so unique and one of one. He's thrown a lot of his potential away, but he still finds a way to bounce back, and he is still with us in battle rap right now, obviously, like I said, an under-the-radar year in 2022. And if he is able to put together a couple, you know, the sick battle, to me, is classic potential. We'll see how it ages. Great moments, great content from him. And if he's able to replicate that with a couple other top tiers, you don't think URL is looking to book Hitman versus Twerk. The energy that goes into that, and it really comes down to, more than anything, the performance versus performance aspect. I don't know if with the type of career Twerk has had up to this point, if he'll ever catch up, maybe just in pure ability as a performer. There's a debate there. Track record, it's not really going to be close. I don't know if he's going to be able to climb that mountain, to match Hitman if he wrote everything down on paper. But with that being said, just with the skill set, he's just too explosive to not put up against a guy that's also this explosive. I think he could really give Hitman troubles because I think he would be motivated. On top of that, I think that he clearly has Hitman outdone in the punching and just creative writing category, the types of doubles that he's able to put together, his reference pool. On the flip side, Hitman is an amazing angler, and he does not get enough credit for that part of his game, but he could really walk someone down and win a battle strictly angling, but throwing in the performance with his angles. There is no more explosive battle in battle rap. If you really want to get out there, you could say Hitman versus Briz. I don't think Briz is ever coming back, which is why you're absent of seeing Briz on this list. Another great matchup if we get Hitman and Briz. But, you know, I think Twerk and Hitman is just that other one that's like just off of pure explosion. We got to at least one day give this one a chance. It's blockbuster. It's two guys that at their peaks are some of the, you know, if we talk about both of them at 100%, those are both two of different but the better battle rappers of all time when they're at 100. So I know that's kind of story Twerk's career. I could get people that don't necessarily think that he deserved it, yada yada, but just off of pure style, I think Hitman versus Twerk is the most interesting matchup that Hitman Holla could take. And that is the end of this Bookem edition for Hitman Holla. Shout out to my homie Prince that actually commented on one of the old Bookems for Av that I did around the start of this channel. And he asked specifically if I could do a Hitman Holla Bookem. So that was kind of the inspiration for this one. Obviously did a video on him, on Hitman very recently, him versus Shine. Him and Shine getting a lot of love. I didn't have enough content up on them. And I just figured this gap amount of time, might as well appreciate some legends and just throw out some of my opinions on where their career could go from, from where they're at, So I thought this was a creative one, and shout out Prince, obviously, for the little inspiration here. Shout out Prince, it sounds like I'm shouting out like Prince, like Purple Prince, but all ridiculousness aside, I think that these are all great matchups. Obviously, when we talk that top two, Twerk and IWill, energy-wise, what they could do with Hitman as performers, I had different explanations for why I might prefer one over the other. I'm kind of split on it, as you can see me talking myself through the video on it. But I do think those are great matchups. And also the ones I mentioned from Gichi, Ward, and even Nitty, I just think are all good talent, who are just great guys that have a chance against Hitman and probably earned a God tier plate. Why not? So really had a, you know, fun. I always have a fun time making these. They don't necessarily do like the biggest numbers on here, but for those of you that tap in and really enjoy booking plans, realistic booking plans, and like who could actually go next, what's the next best matchup, maybe you see, you know, why I like this series and why I like really booking that. I think it's very important how artists develop the certain type of plates they take. And I just think that there's a lot of detail and kind of fun behind the business of it. So I will always enjoy making these series and always will be pumping out more episodes. And that's for you guys. You know, comment down below. Let me know if there's anyone else you want to, like, who you do want to see next on a book 'em. If it's one of your favorite battlers, you know what I'm saying? Even a mid-tier battler that you want to see rise up the ranks, I'm totally down to do them on any type of talent. It's just a fun little video to make. And hopefully we do get some of these Hitman battles. Obviously, he battles rarely. Maybe, like I said, maybe it'll take him 3 or 4 years to battle all 5 of these guys. But even if there's a world where we could get Hitman versus IWill and Hitman versus Gichi, you know what I'm saying, this year over the next 2 years, I think the fans will be very, very happy for that. But like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, let me know who else you want a Book 'em episode done on, and I'll definitely read it. And just like Prince's suggestion, I'd definitely be down to do anybody's. So it's been Jay Smo Reviews again, y'all. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Peace.